Hello students, in this video I will go through the steps in constructing a line passing through a given point parallel to a given line. Alright, so what I want you to do is take a blank sheet of paper and we're going to first start off by drawing all the necessary givens. So I want to draw myself the given line. So this is the given line. And I'm going to draw myself a given point. This is the given point. And if you recall from our studies of parallel lines, how we justify whether a pair of lines is parallel or not is by looking at the angles that are formed when a transversal cuts through the pair of lines. So if the angles that are formed, if the alternate interior angles, corresponding angles, if those angles are congruent, then we can justify that the pair of lines that we are looking at are indeed parallel. So we're going to capitalize on that idea. So how are we going to draw a line passing through this given point while at the same time parallel to this given line? To capitalize on the idea of alternate interior angles and corresponding angles are congruent, we need to construct a transversal. So the transversal, I'm going to draw the transversal passing through this point, and it really doesn't matter what angle you draw the transversal. I'm going to draw my transversal in this manner just to make it, to exaggerate it, to show you guys. Again, it really doesn't matter how you draw the transversal. You could have drawn it perpendicularly if you'd like, okay? But I chose not to because I want to work with, the space that I have here. If I drew the perpendicular line, I would have to extend the line a little more just to, to work with it. So anyway, I drew a transversal, and I'm going to call this point here A, just so that I can reference it and work with it, okay? So I have point A there. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy this interior angle and place that angle up top, thereby creating alternate interior angles. And if we create alternate interior angles, we will have created a pair of parallel lines. That's the logic here. Try to understand the steps and not memorize the steps. So what we're going to do to copy the angle, if you recall, to copy the angle, we want to figure out how wide this angle actually opens up, right? So to do that, we are going to take our compass, we're going to place our pin on A, and you're going to draw an arc hitting both sides of the angle, hitting the transversal as well as the given line. So this arc here hits the transversal and the given line at two different points. I'm going to try and repeat this with the point up top. So I'm going to place the pin there, and I am going to again draw myself an arc doing just that. So the arc that I draw has to hit the transversal, and I drew the arc large enough so that when I copy the angle, that arc there is going to intersect with another arc that I draw. Okay? In other words, how I draw this arc down here must be repeated up there. Okay. So this arc that I just drew, or this arc that I drew a moment ago, okay, does not specify how wide the opening is. Recall how we copied angles. Now that we have this arc drawn, we're going to measure what that actual opening is. So I'm going to place my pin on the point of intersection here, and I am going to measure that opening that I have. I'm going to pick up my compass And I'm going to place my pen on the intersection of the second arc that I drew, and I'm going to now draw an arc like so. This point right here is the copying of this point here. So let's call this point here B and this point here C, right? So this point is actually C prime, and then this point over here is actually B prime. So that's essentially it. All I got to do now is take my straight edge, connect the 2 points, and I've accomplished what I set out to do, which was to draw a line passing through this point parallel to the given line. And it's got to be parallel because these two angles are congruent. Alternate interior angles are congruent.